said, how do you know the difference between a boy and a girl? And CJ goes,
That's what I was yelling. I was like, it was my fault because I was like holding it like this because they were like, I was doing like a donkey stampede. They were like, Jay's like running in a circle around me. And I was like, just look.
oh, it was funny.
Try to get you a list of numbers. I did a few things like, well, just, you think 2 batches will be enough?
Should be fine.
How many you expect?
Okay. I'll swap.
I mean, that's 200 up. I mean, we can do. That's
All right, everyone, I've got 5 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order at 5 o'clock straight up. Mr. Hughes, would you care to lead us in the opening prayer?
Dear Lord, again, we're thankful for each and everything that you do for us each and every day, and for the health and the strength that you've given to us to be able to come out here this evening to discuss the business of the school. As we have another school year drawing near, we pray that you will be with each and every one of us as we continue to try to make the best decisions for the school. Continue to be with the kids that are out over the summer break, and be with our admin and our teachers as well. Lord, again, we pray that you'll forgive us of our sins. It's in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right, so next item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the previous board meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Next item is to approve the financial report and bills.
We're still trying to get some money in, bills paid, we're still in the middle of that. And so, it'll actually be next month before we definitely can see how, but we're fine.
It'll be next month before we know how we ended the fiscal year?
Yep, because we're still moving stuff. Still getting bills in, still paying bills, still getting revenue in. Now, I'm not used to that either. We used to be able to, the 10th day, that was it. But it's
Like
not that way.
behind now.
Yeah. You got a period, this is 1 of 26 or something like that.
There hasn't been any change to the federal funding.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the financial report and bills. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next item is Fire Chief Jeremy Campbell here to discuss with us the Junior Firefighter Program and his presentation.
All right, I'll try to keep this as short as I can. This is something that me and Brooke have talked about already a few times, and I've come and spoke to Mr. Blevins about it. What I would like to do is I would like to gauge the interest in the kids, first off, I guess, of kids from 14 to 18 in the school that would be willing to be part of a junior firefighter program. In the program, they would take my class at school. If we could find a period during the day, that's going to be, I think, the biggest hiccup is trying to find the class period to put it class on in. But if they would take my class during the day, when they graduated high school, they would be prepared to take the firefighter 1 and 2 test to be a career firefighter anywhere in the state, anywhere in the world, actually. So, it would be a pathway for the kids that aren't interested in going to college, another path into the workforce, so to speak, in a career that has, pretty good benefits and, a pretty good outlook. Another reason that I would like to get this program going, first and foremost, is just because there's a lacking of youth in the local fire departments. There's 5 fire departments at least that are in the Norfolk School District. And of those departments, I'm just gonna give you some numbers. So last year, Rodney Fire Department, they had 108 calls on the year. So far in '25, they've had 87 calls. So a vast increase in their number of calls. Salesville was running an average of 90 calls a year, and this last year they were in the 285 range. Okay, so they're extremely increase in calls. Tracy Fire Departments so far this year has ran around 160 calls, and they've only been able to respond to 86 of these calls due to the fact that they don't have enough personnel to make it to these calls. Be that because they've got guys that aged out, there's guys that are out of town, whatever it may be. We're just running into this problem more and more as we're going. And since I've taken over as chief, Norfolk has the unique situation as we have 2 people at the fire station during the week on call or on the clock. So we get, we make more calls than most, and we have more people going on the calls than most. But, it's not always that way for these other guys and even for us. So,
Couldn't let him be the only one.
so with that said, I think, if we could get some of these kids interested in it starting early at school, not only would it boost our numbers later, but it gives them a career path, also. And even if they didn't want to pursue it, they could always stay and volunteer for their department. Now, if they're in my program in school, they would volunteer for whichever department they live in. So if they lived in Rodney, they would be on John's department. They would go to his meetings and his trainings, but they would be in my class at school. And all of these guys have agreed to help me teach whatever we run into during the year, where if I need help, they've told me that they would help me do any of that. So the only thing that would be any cost would be the books for the class. And Walnut Ridge did this program at their school, and they just sent out forms to local businesses, and their books were donated to them through local businesses, and I think that we could probably pull off something similar to that. And if not, I've talked to most of these guys behind me, and they could probably fit the books into their budget for the kids that were in their respective fire departments. So, and I know we could as well. So, I don't expect there to be just a giant number of kids that want to do this, and I don't know if we'll be able to do. It's something that we could do from 14 to 18 years old as the junior firefighters, but I don't know that we'll be able to take freshmen into the class. Okay, so the firefighter 1 and 2 class would most likely be upperclassmen that have openings in their schedule. That way we could work them into a period, say if they were going to leave at 2 o'clock anyway, we could maybe get them in a class after lunch, or something. We would have to just sit down with Pam and figure it out, but I really think it would be a very beneficial deal for the whole community. And to kind of piggyback off of that, I want to be more involved with the school as far as the fire drills go, with our departments, especially just the ones that are closest to me and Ernest here with Salesville and Norfolk. We'll be here immediately when the alarms go off. That's, we're going to be the first ones coming. Obviously, we're an auto aid group, so everybody's gonna come if we have a fire. But, you know, we'll be the first ones here, so anytime we have fire drills, I wanna make sure that we got personnel, engines, everything that would be here in a real scenario, I think should be here. And if we have fire marshals in the grades or in the classes, they should be in this program. And they should be trained to help us, you know, have an idea of what's going on, where to get students out at, simple things like that would be very beneficial to us coming in. I know that we're not allowed to have cell phones anymore, but, just, if we had a way to get them to be able to communicate to us, that would be even better, you know, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but, let's see. There's 200 things I'm forgetting,
Mr. Campbell, these people, you or anybody else that came in and talked to kids, would probably have to go through a background check.
Sure.
We'll have to do the background checks on that.
Absolutely.
I think they were talking about setting up an open house just to see.
Yeah, just to gauge the interest, see if we can get, you know, capture any kids there, or, you know, any parents that might wanna, you know, check it out a little bit and see. Like I said, I don't expect there to just be a ton, but, you know, if we could get 4 or 5 or 6 or something, you know, that would be fantastic, I think. And the more we get, obviously, the more will come later, you know, because they're gonna see that it's, you know, we're not going up to the firehouse and telling fishing stories. We're doing things, you know, it's not your same fire department that it used to be. So, and also, I think that the kids would be able to earn volunteer hours towards their graduation, as well as CPR certification, if that's something that the school is gonna start requiring. I'm not sure, but, that's about all I got.
So what do the classes look like? Or is it like every day for a
It
whole
would be,
year?
yeah, it would
Okay.
be a whole year. First thing we would teach would be emergency medical responder, because you have to have it before you can be part of the fire service. So, just in case the fact that you're out there on a fire call, you know how to do some sort of emergency medical care if something were to happen. And obviously that would benefit the fire department as well, especially in Tracy's situation where they had to miss 80 calls for medical calls. We would start with EMR, and that would probably take like the first 9 weeks, and then the rest of the time would be firefighter 1 and 2. With that, if the kids, for some reason, if we didn't finish before the end of the school year, it's not like they couldn't finish. You know what I mean? It's not a school course. You know what I mean? So if we had to finish it after, we could. And then when they turn old enough to take the test for the state, you know, that would be something where the fire department that was, you know, whoever they're volunteering for or taking the class for would take them down there and let them take that test at Camden. It's about a 4-hour drive down there.
I told Mr. Campbell the other day that Pleasant Plains had one of the best volunteer fire departments in the state of Arkansas. It was kind of a model program at one time under Stacy Kemplinger. And I live about, where my house is in Pleasant Plains, I live about maybe 150 yards from the fire department. There's no telling how much money I saved over the years because they kept going up, and their fire department received different classes, I guess is what you call it. I'm not sure exactly what it's called. And of course, I was close to it.
Yeah. Well, that's the big thing with our department now. You know, we're one of the lowest rated departments around here, which the lower the better. And in my hopes to keep that low rating, this will help. So community risk is one of the big things with that, and anything you do with the school and public outreach like this is going to help our ISO rating is what we're after. What we're trying. That's my whole job as the chief. Basically, is, you know, one, keep the community safe, but also keep everybody's homeowners insurance at the low as possible cost as what I can. You know, it's the most stressful part of my job, trying to do that. But since I've taken over, we train more now than we ever have, and we're gonna keep doing that. And being an auto aid group like we are, we all train with each other, on a regular basis, and having this program at the school, all these training hours will go towards our departments, because of these kids, if they're in each department gets credit for them hours, and we get to count that towards our ISO rating. And that's one of the biggest score factors on the ISO rating, is the community risk and the training. Honestly, you know, a lot of this is to benefit the fire department, but a lot of it is to benefit the kids as well, and the school. So it's, you know, it's good for everybody, I think. You know, it's just the logistics of it, trying to make it work, during the school day, will be the challenge. That I'm hoping that I can get y'all's help and Brooke's help to figure that out. Also, Walnut Ridge, the man that was teaching their class has retired, and they didn't continue the program. They couldn't find anybody to continue it. So all the equipment that they have, I've reached out to them, and I'm trying to get them to donate all their equipment to us. So
Oh, nice.
if we can pull that off, that would be a great help as well. So that's all I got.
Yeah, if we can make it work out,
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I don't see a downside.
No.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah.
And I think even if they ultimately decide they don't want to be a firefighter, it could help them in other healthcare related fields as well. So
Exactly.
EMT, paramedic, all of that.
Yep.
I think it's great.
What's the cost of the books?
The books are about 130 to 140 a piece. Yeah.
I told you the other day, I think Next would probably help with that too.
Sure.
I think they would, because, you know, they gave me $1,000, just boom, you know, and, they're looking for something that gives publicity. This would be a great thing, you know, I think it.
I think so too.
I think there's enough businesses around here that it won't be a
Yeah.
problem.
Well, even if we stretched into Mountain Home, you know, Mountain Home doesn't have a program like this, so I would imagine that they would probably buy on it, you know. We've gotten a lot of great sponsorship out of Mountain Home over the years, especially in my experience, for our baseball program. We've had quite a few good sponsors come in for that, so I don't see any reason that we couldn't get, you know, it shouldn't be more than $1,000 for books, I wouldn't imagine, so.
The only thing is, we talked about the wind period, the only thing about that is, that's a period that if these kids need to be tutored, that's when we gotta do that.
Yeah.
That would be the only, you know, we have to be very careful.
And that's where I was running into the problem, you know, I'm thinking, you know, 9th through 12th, but your 9th and 10th, and they're gonna be the kids that are gonna need that tutoring and that remediation. You know, your seniors is not, you know, that's another thing. Do we tie an academic standard to the class? So you have to have this grade average to take the class.
Why don't we wait till we see who signs up, the interest?
Mhm.
We can see who, the interest of it, and then we can look at the kids that sign up and see if it's gonna be a problem or not.
Yeah, and we have course codes for work study and internship that allow students to leave campus, but there's still a class on their schedule. So I could see it being coded in that way somehow. That would be a Pam question, but I do think that either work study or internship could probably
I
work.
talked to the Baxter County OEM director a few minutes before I came here, and he suggested the internship thing
Yeah, I think
as
that would
well.
be good.
As far as, you know, if them kids were, you know, taken off to go somewhere to work for that half of the day or whatever after lunch, that they could go to the fire department and
Yeah.
do something.
I think that would work.
Well, it'd be similar to like the white coat too, probably, right?
Yeah.
Where they go and,
You think we could do like a remind or something? I mean, at open house, I don't see like a bunch of seniors coming.
Sure.
So to sign
Yeah.
up, so even like if we send a remind to parents or something to let them know that a program, like to reach out to you or
Right,
whoever.
well, and I thought maybe, you know, once school starts, I don't know, maybe we could, you know, get all the kids and have them be, you know, in the gym or something, and I'd come in and speak to them, or go into their class and speak to them maybe. There's gonna be a few kids, I've got a couple of kids already doing it, doing the junior firefighter thing, and think we're gonna have one of them coming to school at Norfolk again this year, so, he'll be able to spread the word, but he's in that 14 age range. So, you know, the older kids are gonna be a little out of reach, but I think, you know, once the word gets out, that we'll get some numbers in, surely.
Well, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Do we need
I do too.
any
I
action?
think it's a great
Any
idea.
action on our part, or?
Do what?
Any
Yeah,
action?
do we need to do
Well,
anything?
on our part?
if we can make it work, I'm for it. I'd recommend it.
I agree. I agree.
We just gotta make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a great program for them. I think it's a
Yeah.
great program, opportunity for our kids, and I think it's a great opportunity for the whole community.
Yeah, thank you.
So
Yeah.
if we can make it work, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you to each and every department that's
Yeah.
willing to help.
Yeah, this is great.
Yep.
So what happens when a call goes unanswered, where you're not able to respond? Does it go to the next community?
If it's a medical deal, a lot of times it'll just go to the ambulance coming. So, you know, if it's a fall with injury, say, they end up waiting a little longer before they get cared. The good thing about Tracy, is that they're in an area that's. That's just a call right there, I'm guessing. Sorry. The good thing about Tracy is they're in an area where it's fairly close to the hospital. As in our case, if a call was to go unanswered, it would be 35 to 40 minutes sometimes before a paramedic arrived. So it's crucial to have medical personnel, and fire personnel that can show
Those
up.
response times go into the rating, right?
They do, yeah. That's a big part of everything. The medical side's not so much, looked at as far as the insurance companies go. They just really care about how fast a house burns down, you know. So they want us to be there within 10 minutes of a house fire alarm going off, you know.
And
Which
we-
we're all fairly good at, as far as that goes. We do have, on the fire side, there's a lot more guys that volunteer that just wanna do fire, as opposed to going and seeing the things that you'll see on the medical calls. So we do a lot better on fire calls than we do on medical calls, and we all help each other out. So I believe Salesville and Tracy, they have it set up to where they get a call at all. Anything besides a medical, they both respond to that call. That way they have manpower, things like that. But regardless, we need the numbers. We need younger people. Eventually, we're gonna, you know, people are gonna age out, and then there's not gonna be people to take their place.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Very good. Anything else? I think we're on board.
I
Yeah.
thank you all for all coming too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
I think it's a big, great thing. It'd be a
Yeah.
very, very good thing.
Okay.
Thank you for all you do.
Yep.
And I wanna sit down with you guys, or whoever's I need to sit down with as far as the fire drills
Mm.
and those kind
Bingo.
of things.
Yep.
I'm for that.
Because that's a big thing for me. I really think we need to be doing a better job than what we have done in the past. I know the elementary was doing your thing, but I don't know about the high school, so
I don't need it.
I'd like to get it moved in the right direction, for sure.
Yeah. I'm for that too.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you
Yep.
guys.
Yep.
I've got a meeting, so we're gonna.
Thank you.
I know y'all really want to take the message.
I appreciate y'all all being
Yep.
here.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Hi, thank you.
And I would like to thank Jeremy for helping deliver all of our
Yeah.
responses too.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Yeah.
wow.
I'll be here tomorrow to pick up some more of it.
Thanks,
Oh, I have a
Jeremy.
picture I'm gonna share tonight about that. I took some pictures today of them.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, next item is the academic reports. Who would like to?
It doesn't matter to me, you go first.
Sure.
Okay. Which I think, our Atlas reporting, reports probably mirror each other. We haven't gone deep into comparison of last year's to this year's. I know Stephanie sent out an Excel spreadsheet today, but we want to look at one grade, like our fourth graders, how did they compare to how they did in third grade, so we're gonna get deeper into that. But we kinda wanted to wait until, they apply the business rules, which, you know, some students will come out of those those totals and those reports for various reasons, whether it's, highly mobile students, ESL, which we don't probably have, but we do have several highly mobile students, and those students they pull those out.
So if they came after October 1st, they don't count in our test scores, good or bad.
Either way.
Either way, so even if they're good, they're not gonna count, so.
And we do have some students that came in after that deadline,
Hmm.
so those will get pulled out of these results.
So the first page of probably the elementary and the high school, both, I don't know if you put that
Yeah.
first, was basically, like each subject area, like third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, math, science, and literacy. The blue, where we want to be, is on the far right. The blue is like exceeding, really expectations. Green is proficient, and then, 2 is that kind of, I wanna call it gray area, it's not really gray, but, where they are performing, with proficiency in some areas, but they're probably not consistent. So it's, either they're not consistent, could be with the testing data, or with their test, or it could be, if it's, a curriculum or an instructional area, they're getting the material, but not as deep as they need to. So they're kind of getting that base level. And then 1, that's far below, or below. So that just gives each subject area, and then, I don't know if you did it the same, I think you did.
Yeah.
And then the next pages are by subject area, giving you an overview for each, grade and subject area. And then the last pages are, gives you a little more in-depth of each, like per class. And it also shows you the state in, comparison with the state.
I
And-
liked that one.
Yeah, and obviously, I mean, there are some areas that look great, and there are some areas that we definitely need to be working on. But we are able with the Atlas, the reporting system, we'll be able to pull, like I said, longitudinal data where it will show from one grade to the next, but just the past 2 years, because Atlas is all that is in that report. So I'm hopeful that next board meeting, we will have that pool where we can kind of look a little more closely as far as growth goes. Because in some of the conference sessions that we attended last week, they talked a lot about the school rating. And most of the school rating, they've taken a lot of stuff out. So the school rating basically is achievement, growth, and growth's gonna play pretty heavily because they count growth twice, really almost. Growth of each student, like which students grew, and then the bottom quartile, the bottom 25%, if they grew. So if that, that could count twice. And then, so achievement, growth, and then for elementary, that would be it. And then high school will be graduation rate.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. And then eventually it'll be those success-ready pathways, how many students we have graduating in those success-ready pathways. That will factor in a couple of years too. But
So do y'all know why on like the test completion rate, some of these are extremely low?
and that's not
Is-
that's
so
not
that's-
are you talking, are these, which ones are you looking at?
Like on algebra, just for example.
Okay,
Curtis is like 2 out of 32.
what you're looking at the top, and I asked Pam about that, what this is, those teachers that are at the bottom of my reports, like Curtis, Jones, Rangel, those were all the teachers that taught 8th grade. But they didn't necessarily teach, like the sheet that I'm looking at is science. Ethan Curtis doesn't teach science. So it's not gonna, those kids are not rostered to him for science. So, but the way that the Atlas system works is if you teach 8th grade at all, those kids are showing up under your name.
Oh,
But like for
gotcha.
science, what you would wanna look at is Rangel 8, cause she's the 8th grade science teacher. She had 96% complete the test. So you actually have to look at the teacher that actually taught that subject.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's strange, and that's the
super
thing about these
confusing.
reports, you have to be careful what you're looking at.
Yeah.
'Cause, like, for example, there's a longitudinal report that shows their comparison from last year to this year. And on some of the graphs, it just looks like straight down, but it's actually 2 points.
Right.
It's just the way the graph
Right.
looks, you know what I mean? So you have to be careful when you're looking at this, that you're, so like if you're looking at the top and your subject is English, you have to look at who that English teacher was, not at the other teachers that are listed.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
She prides herself in getting every student tested.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I'm thinking
Until she gets all
that,
the
I'm like,
schools
that's
tested.
crazy.
She chases these
Yeah,
people down,
yeah,
I can
yeah.
promise you.
She's waiting at the
Okay.
door the day they show back up to school. So I know elementary, I'm pretty sure we were 100% every.
Yeah, I think
every
ours
student
was
tested.
around 96 or more.
Yeah, so.
And there's definitely some concerns, you know, on my end. We had one particular class as a whole that just tested extremely low. One particular grade in my building that I'm looking at really closely of why is this particular grade testing so low across the board? Because I'm concerned about that.
And then Brooke and I talked today about me trying to go back, and I know you can't really compare the tests, but even the old ACT Aspire test for when they were in elementary, like, is this a progression every year, or are they going
Right.
down? I mean,
Right,
what-
right.
I mean, if so, there's something that grade has missed somewhere along the way that
Right.
they need to get.
Right, and that's where, Ms. Jones comes in, Karen, like we're gonna be getting deep into this data, and then she's gonna be working with the teachers to look at their standards. Are your standards aligned to what Atlas gives us is called the blueprint, that shows what standards are being tested? And then they have these achievement level descriptors that the teachers can look at and say, okay, this type of response would be a level 1 response, this would be a level 2 response, this would be a level 3. And so the teachers really have to get into that and make sure that what they're presenting in the classroom every day meets those blueprint standards.
Are we starting that before school starts, or is that after? Cause if we start after, I feel like we're
Right.
trying to play catch up on something we're already behind on.
Well, and the problem we have is these scores just came out. We were told at this thing we just went to that next year, the results are gonna be almost immediate. So we should get them in May. And then we can have these discussions in June to start planning for the next school year. But when you get the scores this late, it's really hard, because we have back to school PD plan, but it's slammed with stuff.
I mean, we will be able to spend a little time.
Right.
And I know teachers have been diving into this because they have access to the portal, and it will show their students, and it will even get more detailed than these last
Yeah.
pages. It will get like.
Student level.
Student level, like each specific standard,
Mhm.
or math, like each
And on-
component.
Right. On my end, honestly, what I'm probably gonna have to do, and I'm working with Karen on this, there may be a day where I have to get some subs, and our English teachers are gonna take half a day, and they're gonna dive into this really deep. And we may have to get subs for that day, because, like you said, school starts in, I think it's 23 days now. Who's counting? Me. 23 days, guys. 23 days.
It happened real quick.
There you go, you're welcome. But it is, it's like at this point, we get this and we're like, oh my gosh, but kids come back in the building in 23 days. So, there's definitely gonna have to be some things that happen after the school year starts, and I'm hoping if what they told us is correct, next year we actually get the scores in May and we can plan 2 or 3 days in June where our teachers are just looking at data, and looking at their standards and looking at their kids.
And we still don't have K2 data.
Yeah. Yeah.
They tested at the end of the year, and we still don't have that. They said, they said it might be September, October.
Yeah, they kind of gave us the timeline of things, like the growth scores are gonna come out later in the fall, the school report card will be October-ish.
And you can choose that, whether you want that score or the 23 score.
Confusing.
Wow.
Yeah, it was,
It just shouldn't take this long. That's why
it
electronic
shouldn't.
reporting is a benefit. When you take
Right.
an ACT, you get that in 10 business
Right.
days.
And
It's like,
K2
why
is pretty
does it
important to
take
have
this
that.
long?
yes,
So.
it is. But yeah, there's definitely areas on here, if y'all have any questions. I'm seeing the same things y'all are seeing, so there's definitely areas where that yellow is real high.
Worrisome.
Very worrisome,
Makes me very
absolutely.
glad that we made the decision to go to 3, teachers for
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm
literacy.
hoping that will help.
curriculum coordinator back.
Yes, yeah, I'm telling you, Karen's role is gonna be extremely important moving forward. Having that time to go through our standards and meet with teachers and make sure everything's aligned the way it should be. Because I know at the high school level, that has not been done in every subject. I know math went through a lot of alignment things last year with Bailey Education Group that came in, and worked with them, but our other subject areas, that has not happened. So,
Well, you haven't had curriculum, HQIM materials too,
yeah.
teach with adults.
That's the other big push from the state, high quality instructional materials, and they have a list of what meets HQIM, and, you know, you need to have curriculum from that list. English just got that last year, but they got it after school started, and they didn't get training on it, so that's one thing Karen is working on at the high school, is getting our English teachers training on, because even if you get that material, if you don't know how to use it, it's not
Right.
benefiting you. So, there's definitely a lot of plans happening around this.
How many days you said?
23.
I just asked me that.
Calm down, please.
Countdown, on my board.
So would you say, would both of you say that the areas, the students that fall in the yellow area, especially considering what you just said about the, you know, the improvement and the growth counting
Twice.
basically double, would you say that the yellow was your mission field going into the beginning of the year?
Definitely, yes, the yellow, because they will be, automatically put on, RTI for high school, like an individual reading plan.
Okay,
Yes.
so they're automatically going on
We
something
will
like that?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
we don't wait around, yes.
Okay.
We start intervention, I hate to say day one, because probably not
Yeah.
day one, but
Yeah.
right off, we don't wait for any. And we do, and then we will have the beginning of year screening. Has to be within the first 30 days of school, so we'll be doing that as well. And I believe that, you know, your high school.
Yeah,
I think
school
that
different.
should be pretty immediate, I believe. So that will be helpful too, but we will start with what we have here, those ones, that yellow. And not just the yellow, we go beyond that too.
Sure.
but, yeah.
What we kept hearing at these sessions that we're at is if you have more than 20% of your population that's in level 1, you have a tier 1 instruction problem, which means our whole group instruction that we're giving in class, if you have more than 20% of kids that are in level 1, you have a tier 1 instruction problem. That means you've got to go back to how that instruction is being delivered to those kids, because they're not getting it if you've got more than 20% in level 1. So that's a conversation that we have to have with our teachers, is what are we doing?
Mhm.
What do we need to be doing?
And do we need to change curriculum? Is it not working
Right,
for us?
is it the curriculum,
Is
is
it
it,
instruction and combination?
we're moving too fast, we're not reteaching when they're not getting it? You know, it could be a combination of things, so,
Normally it is.
yeah.
You've got your work cut out for you, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, so
Easy.
You're over 20 in all 3 of these areas.
I know, yep, it's
You remember
concerning.
what I told her, didn't you? I said, if you don't improve this, I said, they're gonna fire me. The person they bring in to praise me, they're gonna fire you.
No pressure,
No
guys.
pressure on either one
No
of them.
pressure. No, but
No,
yeah,
I'm just
I mean, I've spent a lot of time looking at this report, a lot of
Hopefully
time.
there's
Yeah, she
no
did a
way
lot
to
of
go back
panicking
up.
last week. A lot of panicking last week.
She finally was like,
Let's go, we're
We're
going
gonna
shopping.
shop.
I
Put it down, put it down.
And then I added to your
We're
stress.
shopping.
No, it's okay.
I'm sorry.
The main thing is to have a plan.
Right.
To how to attack it, and
Right.
once you have the plan, then you've got to convince the staff. And you know, there used to be, really, you know, people, they took academics seriously, everybody took academics, but you know, it wasn't, today, it's all about academics. And I don't care if you like it or not, you know, me and you both were sports holics, but you've got, academics is what it's You know, that's what the driving thing is, and that's what your school is judged on, is, and pride. You still gotta have pride. I don't care who you are, you still gotta have pride. Whatever you wear, you still gotta have pride. But academics is gonna have to have an all news. You know, I had a teacher from White County Central that their superintendent met with them at the end of the year, you know, and he told me, he said, look, here's what it is. Either if your scores, if your scores are down here and they don't improve next year, sorry. And they were just offended by that. They said, well, I said, well, don't you think that his job is probably depending on if those kids are gonna move or not? I mean, it's not just a top thing, it's a top down, or a top, or a bottom up, or however you wanna explain it. But it's all gotta be, it's no longer, well, that person is a good old boy or a good old girl. You better produce, or you won't be here. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Are there ways to get periodic checks to see how much progress you've made, other than just doing the test again?
The tricky thing is these interims that they will take coming up in the fall, because they do take those interim tests, but they are gonna be measured on the grade level standards they're in now, not last, you know what I'm saying? So if they were in 8th grade, now when they take the fall interim test, they're gonna be measured on those 9th grade standards. So they're, you know what I mean?
Even though they haven't taken-
the 8th grade,
Right,
so they're already behind, yeah.
I remember getting my son's scores from the interim in the fall, and I was like, these are terrible, and his teacher said no, because he's only been exposed to the curriculum for a month.
Whole new criteria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's what makes it difficult, because you're not comparing anymore to, like, our geometry scores get compared to their algebra scores. Like, that's the 2 points of reference they use. Those are 2 totally different subjects.
Apples and oranges.
Yes, but when they show the kids' growth, they compare, if they're in geometry, they compare it to their algebra score last year. Is that a fair comparison? Probably not. You know
But
what I
probably
mean?
that
So-
November to February interim
Right.
should go
You
up.
should see progress.
So that would be, I
Yeah.
guess, where you would compare
Yes.
that, but yeah.
And we have reports that show the summative last year, fall interim, spring interim, and then there's summative. We do have those reports.
So the interim is based on the full scopes of the year's, standards?
Curriculum, yes.
Yes,
But they get tested on it at the beginning of the year, and then again at the middle, and then the
which I
summative.
guess they wanna see a progression.
Right. It's almost like a pre-test if you think about
Right.
it. The first interim is like a pre-test, like what do you already know?
Yeah,
So, but if you're a parent and you get those scores, you're
Right.
like, oh my gosh.
Well, that might be a bad thing.
It's not, it just looks very low. Like, all the kids look very low on that first interim because, well, I don't say all, but a lot of them, because they haven't been exposed to that curriculum yet.
But
So, like I said, as a parent, when I got it back, I was like, oh my gosh, why is he a level 1 or 2 on everything? But it was because they'd only been in school for a month.
right, right.
Yeah.
Is it detailed to the point to where the teachers know what needs attention?
Yes.
Okay.
It-
So
it's
even-
I want to make sure that's what she and I were talking about. I said, surely the teachers see all this detailed information. And we're talking about, we need to have Karen come in and log in it as a teacher. Well.
But there is like
again,
I know Maple has looked.
It's hard.
Okay.
And we've not talked about it,
Yes, they haven't really been trained at the high school level. Our teachers have not been trained well on it, and that's one thing we're gonna correct this year. But it does accordion out, like when we get these reports, if you click to the right, it accordions out and it shows like every little
So every
standard.
little
Category,
shows you that
yeah.
too. Okay, so you're able
so.
to
You
see.
can see every little thing.
Everything
Everything
stands
stands the number and what, you know.
You can see if it's
They
a
don't show you
strength
the
or a
questions.
weakness,
I
yeah.
had to have Veronica show me how to do it.
Yeah, and that is one thing that we're definitely gonna have this year is training for them on, cause there's a million reports you can run in Atlas, there's so many different things you can look at, and like what's most beneficial for you as a teacher to look at. Cause none of that training happened last year, so.
And I don't know if the parents even got informed about the interim testing, that they could go in and see those scores. I think they were told at the end of the year, but, so that might be beneficial too.
Yes.
To make sure that they know, okay, go in there now and you can see your kids' interim
Yeah.
testing, but.
And I believe, is it at open house that they give parents their score, the kids' score report from this summative? I think Pam usually does at our building, it seems like.
I don't know if she prints them, if she printed them out anymore, because the parents have
The access.
the family portal, and they're able to get in there and
Mhm.
see anything the teacher puts in, like the individual reading plans. I was talking about, that's on the parent portal.
That's one thing we did talk about doing at open house though, was setting up a computer area where parents, we could help them log in if they need help. To see that and to see like Peaceful or HAC, I guess is what parents call it, Home Access Center, making sure they know how to get into both of those things.
That would be helpful.
Yeah.
That app is really good too.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, whatever anybody needs, you know, our job is to make sure that you have the resources that you need to do your job effectively. So if y'all have needs, let's hear it. Yeah.
I think
so.
once we have time to sit down with Karen and come up with a solid plan, we'll know more as far as timing on trainings and all of that.
Okay.
You want handbooks?
Sure, might as well, yeah.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
I emailed you our updated handbook, but then we made a couple more changes. Nothing much changed, nothing major in the elementary handbook change. The people, the dates, the calendar. There were some medical forms, I believe, that had to change. The bell-to-bell no-cell policy, at the elementary, we already had that in place. But I think after I sent you that, I did go in there and put that verbiage in there. But other than that, really no major, nothing really that needs to probably be brought to you about. I mean, we had a policy in there about shorts, because, you know, students will come wearing shorts in February.
January.
Yeah, January, February. We did have certain dates in there, but I was constantly having to change that because it would be November at 90 degrees, so I'd have to sit down and write, okay, you can wear shorts today, nope, not today. So I just took that out and just put in there about, you know, please keep in mind the weather when sending your child to school. So, but I didn't really have any major changes.
On mine, I kind of gave you guys a list of what pages were changed. New bell schedule, we moved our win period to between first and second period, so that's why the bell schedule changed, but still same start time, same dismiss time at the end of the day, same lunch time. Just trying to think of what the major ones were. We had an updated residency form that we had to replace. We updated the free breakfast and lunch, just the date. On page 24, we added bell-to-bell no cell, and I kind of copied what that says from another school district and just changed it to ours, and then underneath that is still the same cell phone policy as far as violations. It talks about we're still using the pouches. We're gonna do a little different how the students put them in pouches this year to make sure that they are putting them in pouches. We're gonna have first period teachers checking that, watching them put it in the pouch and lock it, because that was an issue we had last year, is they all had pouches, but whether the phone was in the pouch or not was another story, so.
If the right phone was.
Right, or if it was like an old phone, yeah. Yeah. Kids are crafty, man.
Yeah, they are.
On page 59, I'll just show you this real quick. Arkansas created a new pretty graphic for graduation checklist that we put in there. There's a bunch of different graduation checklists because the state keeps changing the requirements. So there was a class of 24-25 checklist in there, we removed that. They came up with this success rated pathway, we added that tells parents like about the different pathways that they can get a diploma of merit or distinction. That will come fully into effect when this year's sophomores are seniors. So we'll be hitting that really hard the next couple of years. And then there's other checklists in here because with the class of 26, this year's seniors, that was when something came into play. Oh, it was the computer science requirement for graduation came into place, so that changed their checklist. And then the classes of 27 and after, that's when those community service hours come into effect. So they have a checklist in here that lists the community service. So eventually, hopefully, we'll get down to
It'll
one
stay
checklist.
stable.
Yeah, it's a lot. Poor Pam has to keep up with all that. What else? ALE guidelines, I removed everything that said Mountain Home and Guyberry, and I just put in the state guidelines if y'all want to, read through that. That was in your email, just about like what a child can be placed in an ALE environment for, and that we have to have a committee, and the committee has to meet, and all those things. Parent has to be involved, all that. And then page 86, we updated the school board members and the high school faculty and staff. And then I'm finishing the index because the page numbers that everything is on has changed. So that's gonna be a process. There'll be a few more days on that one. But that was it for me. Did y'all have any questions about any of that stuff?
No, it's a lot simpler method than what we used to have to sit
So
through.
is our high school and our elementary opening at the same time? Or-
Our first bell is at 7:40 because
I
that'll.
mean, like, as far as when the school opens for students.
Oh.
Cause I think we've talked about this before in the past,
That's a good
parents that
question.
are dropping off elementary kids and then have to wait a while to open up for the high school. That's inconvenient for them if they have to drive to Mountain Home to work and.
Yeah, it's been an issue.
That's
And then the
been an issue,
buses
and
yeah,
I'd
get
like
there
to resolve
early.
it.
And I don't know that we have a specific time in here that it says the building opens, and maybe we need to add that, but I know that Pam, it's usually Pam that gets, or last year it's Pam that gets here first. I'm gonna try to get here when Pam gets here. I'm not gonna beat Maple because she gets here at like 6:30, guys. And I just, she's usually first. Anyway, but I have a duty schedule this year for teachers in the morning. There's going to be people on duty in the hallway, in the gym, and Borbett and I are talking about, originally I had thought about the pavilion if they wanted to stay outside, but the issue with that is the buses and the traffic coming through, we don't know that we want them crossing. So they may just be able to stay out on the benches in front of the school if it's a nice day, but I'm gonna have teachers posted there. Now, their duty won't start till 7:20, and I know we have kids, and we have buses that get here before 7:20.
Yeah, that was the problem too, is they were waiting outside and it was raining.
Right.
It was just a
Yeah,
cluster.
and what is y'all's time that you open?
7, but
Seven.
we do, we
You
have
pay
one
people.
teacher that we pay 30 minutes.
Yeah, they fill out a time sheet,
They
right?
fill out a time sheet.
And we could definitely look at doing that if we want to add that at the high school, and I can open it up to teachers and ask
I think you're gonna have to have the time
the
when you
same.
drop them off to be able to go over.
Okay.
I think we're gonna have to do something with that.
I will be here by then, but yeah, there definitely needs to be
Yeah.
somebody else in the, cause I'll be outside, so
Yeah.
somebody needs to be in the building.
I mean, it was just buses dropping them off and they were just standing out there and then
Right.
parents were having to wait and then they're gonna, yeah. it was,
I'll be here by then too.
But yeah, I can definitely open it up to my, teachers and see if I have, a few that would be willing to come in then and fill out a time sheet.
Because a lot of parents, if they work in Mountain Home, they.
Right, they
Yes.
have to
Right,
go
you know
out.
what, that's a
Yeah.
hardship. on
That
them. You
traffic
don't
was
need it.
terrible.
Yeah.
In today's world, kids can go where they want to, you don't need a hardship on the parents.
No.
No,
Was there any time that your buses ever got there before your 7 o'clock?
No,
Okay.
no.
Cause I was
no.
fixing to say, it,
no, never.
They get there, I mean, sometimes like 7:15, cause I would usually get here by 7:15, and sometimes there would already be
Yeah.
a bus
Yeah.
Sometimes they
dropping
start
off.
coming about 7:10, 7:15, but
Yeah.
I do have, like I said, a teacher at the car rider, and then Curtis is always there by 6:45.
Yeah, I just said that was ongoing.
Just because he doesn't
Yes.
pay, but he's just there.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's, Borbett's usually there, but he's not necessarily in one spot, he's, huh?
Yeah, I'm everywhere.
Yeah, he's moving about.
I'm usually chasing people through the halls, but.
Yeah, we're gonna
We
lock
all
that
do.
down, we're locking it down. Yeah, the kids are not, in the high school, they have been able to go into the halls, they're not gonna be able to do that before the bell rings now, they're gonna have to stay in the lobby or the gym, or like I said, right there on the benches in front of school, I'm fine with that. When I was in school, we couldn't even go into the building until the bell rang. Like, it didn't matter, but we had a covered
Right,
covered area
right.
that we could get under at least if it was raining, where our kids really don't. But they wouldn't even let us tiptoe in that building till the bell rang.
They need to be able to, because cold days, they need to be open.
For sure.
Yeah.
We've had some really cold
We
mornings.
can work on that, we can fix
Yeah.
that, that's an easy
Yeah.
fix.
Yeah.
To me, that's an easy fix.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's something, if we need to add that, is that in y'all's handbook that time, or is that just something you
I think
communicate?
we do have, I think it is
Okay.
hours where they can be dropped off.
I'll look and see where we can add that. Maybe like where the bell schedule is, I could put a note in that the building
Doors
opens at
open at
7.
7.
Mhm.
Just so they can be able to drop off their elementary kid and drive by and drop off their high
Right.
school, or vice versa, that should be, you
Thank
need to
you.
be able to do that.
Yes, thank you.
Yep, I can add that. Anything else on the handbook?
No. We need to approve those, don't we?
Yes.
Please.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second to approve the elementary and high school handbooks. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is the classified salary schedule.
There's just one thing on that, that wasn't added to that, and I don't know why it wasn't. It was $25 an hour for the paraprofessionals and for summer school. It was $35 for the high school for the teachers, but we were paying them at $25 an hour, the paraprofessionals. And we didn't have that on the salary schedule, so I asked you to add that to the salary. That's the only change on the salary schedule. Or just updated, we just didn't have it on. That would be on the classified salary schedule.
Is it, does the classified list anywhere what the substitute teachers make?
Probably, I don't even know that, probably not, do they?
Is it on the salary schedule, is that trust?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I had somebody ask me that question that was interested in substituting, and I went to the,
It has the bus subs, but not.
yeah.
I don't
I'm
know what
thinking
that
I've seen,
number,
I'm thinking I've seen it somewhere, but
I don't know what that number is, do you know?
it's $100 a day.
For a sub?
Okay. So maybe we need to add that. If the best sub is on there, we might need to add
Yeah.
teacher sub. And is a teacher sub the same as a, like, if you have to get a para sub, do they get paid the same or is it different?
If we have to, we don't normally get a para sub unless it's in the special ed classroom where they have a one-on-one and they have to have an aide. I typically don't give a para sub.
Okay.
Unless, like I said, it's a special education para. And I think, yes, it's the same.
The same
$100.
rate.
All right, so tell me again, you said you added parapro and what else was the other thing?
It was just, for summer school,
Summer school, okay.
summer school, we have on there what teachers are supposed to get, but we didn't have on there what the paraprofessionals are supposed to get.
Gotcha.
But we were paying them at $25 an hour, so we just needed justification on the salary schedule.
Okay.
Do we want to add the substitute teacher on here too? At $100 a day on the classified?
That's what we're paying them, isn't it?
Yeah, probably wouldn't hurt.
It's not listed on here.
How much was the best sub?
$100 a day or $50 for half a day.
All right, anything else? We have a motion to approve the classified salary schedule as amended.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the classified salary schedule as amended. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next item is the Act 120 of 2025 regarding the website.
You always talk, you be all right, me go ahead and talk, that's good, I asked you.
No, yeah.
I just want you all have looked at this and I just wanted you all to be aware of while we're on this. You know, as far as yourself, your telephone numbers, your terms and all that kind of stuff. I just wanted you to be aware of everything that was gonna be on the website. And this is the law that was passed back in updated in 25. So it does add more things to the, what you normally had to put on your website, keep updated on your website. Difference in time, and stuff like that. And I just wanted y'all to be aware, nothing.
No action?
No action about it. Wanted y'all to be aware of what was all was on that website.
Okay. Anybody have any questions about that?
I'm guessing our website person knows to put that on there.
Oh, yeah.
And what about the Aptigee thing? Where does that at?
But what now?
The Aptigee,
The app, the
Website.
communication app.
yeah.
I talked to Mark about it, and he was telling me that, cause I haven't had any training on it, and I know that last year admin had to do training on it. And I think Brandy Hughes also needs training because she deals with the
Because
website.
I figure it's all tied into this
It's,
too.
yeah, so he says that it's up and ready, but
Is that the one that y'all paid $14,000 for?
Yeah,
Yes.
he said he was gonna talk to Mr. Blevins about this.
Yes, he did talk to me about it.
Okay.
He said there's even though you paid that, you're gonna have to pay $8,000 a year,
That's what he said.
for that website.
What?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Mhm.
to maintain
So
it.
anyway, here's what he told me. He come in the other day, we talked about this, and he said that there's another one that's more friendly that relates to everything that we do, as far as all the stuff we do right now. And he said that, that website was about $8,000 a year, which that's what you're gonna have to pay this, and then it's less than that after that. He was trying to work out a deal with them at that point in time, but he said that really had been a disappointment, that the
Yeah.
website, and it's up and running, he said, but he said it's not user friendly like this one here is, like the other one is. So I was gonna ask you all about, you wanna go ahead and do the same thing, or you want something different? And he told me the name of it, but I cannot remember.
I wonder if he could come give
Yeah.
an explanation, because that seems like a massive waste of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem like a waste of
I
money.
forget what he said we originally paid for it, but he said although
Yeah, he said
kind of
we.
eating that, he said it's gonna be cheaper in the
$14,000.
long run to do this other one,
Mhm.
because the Aptigee, he didn't realize it was an additional $8,000 or $9,000
Yeah.
I
every
didn't
year.
realize that either.
Mhm.
And,
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, and I wonder when we owe
But
that
anyway,
yearly fee
whatever we
on that.
have to do.
Right.
Mhm.
don't pay it yet.
Do y'all remember that in the?
I thought it did have a
I thought
yearly.
it was, yeah, but I didn't think it was.
I didn't think it was that much.
I don't remember the amount, but I
Mark
do remember it
Benson,
had a
he wasn't
yearly.
aware it was that
Yeah.
much.
Mark did not wanna renew that, this one, he did not wanna renew it. And he was trying to get something else, the name of it, what it's gonna cost exactly, so I told him, I said, I wanna know what it's gonna cost initially and what it's gonna cost to keep it up.
Well, and how long is it gonna take to get the other one up and running? I mean, this one, it's taken almost a year
I don't.
to get it up
I
and
don't-
running.
I
I mean,
don't, I will ask him that, but I don't think so. I don't wait, it's user friendly what we do now, somehow. I mean, it interacts with everything we do. This other one don't, the other, so. But anyway, by the next meeting, I will have, an update on that for you, a price on it, what his recommendation is, and what the annual fee will
yeah, cause they made it sound like it was a very
But that
simple.
would be-
Yeah.
Mhm.
It
But
was
we-
several training sessions.
be. But that doesn't have to be on that website. What we need, this is what has to be on the website that we have right now. And it's gotta be updated, and it gives you times and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah, cause something else I've noticed is the minutes after approval have to be on the website within 24 hours.
Yes.
So, that's gonna
Yeah.
be,
It's a quick turnaround.
yeah,
But the thing is, that's not like the minutes, you approved the minutes, the last month's minutes.
right,
Oh,
right. So these minutes we approved tonight
That-
Have to
have to be up by tomorrow.
That's my understanding.
Yeah, cause we don't approve them, we don't sign off on them until the
Right,
next
that's how
meeting,
that
yeah.
works. Right. At least that's the way I read it.
Yeah. Following the approval, yeah.
I just wanted you all had looked at, I'm sure you'd looked at that through your stuff, but I just want you to be aware of everything that was on that.
Any other questions on that topic? All right, next item on the agenda is the cell phone policy.
Is that me again? I can read y'all what we put in. This was part of the handbook. And like I said, I got the wording on this from another school. It says, cell phones and other electronic devices, Bell No Cell Act, at the beginning of the 25-20 school year. Per Arkansas state legislation, the use of any personal electronic device during the school day will strictly be prohibited. This applies to both passing times and lunch periods. These devices include, but are not limited to, cell phones, earbuds, laptops, and any other electronic device not issued by the North Fork Public School District or approved by the administration for medical purposes.
No.
And then it says medical devices are not permitted to be used for any personal means during school hours. Cell phones and other personal devices are only acceptable during times of true emergency. This means serious, unexpected, or dangerous situations that require immediate action. If the student's device is confiscated for violating this clause, Norfolk High School does not hold a liability in the event of loss, theft, or damage. All violations will follow the cell phone violation procedures below. And these are the same as last year. First offense is temporary confiscation and it has to be picked up by a parent guardian. Second offense is a 2-day suspension. It's pretty strict. And those rules were in effect last year because we were one of the pilot schools. That's why we got those pouches and all of that. We got a grant for those pouches because we agreed to be a pilot school. So really, this policy was in effect last year. It's just the only thing we did was we added the wording of the Bell No Cell.
We just didn't enforce it.
Yes,
How
it
many
was not
times did we,
that's what I was.
suspend someone?
Well, that's a great question. I actually had a call with, the system that we use for discipline is called Smart Data. And Smart Data will pull reports for me as an administrator that shows like how many times these different events happen and what actions were taken, but it wasn't really being utilized last year. That system, that Smart Data system wasn't being utilized the way it should have been. I think teachers started with it and then had some glitches with it and kind of gave up on it
Well, nothing was happening.
Right, and they weren't getting feedback of, okay, we put this in Smart Data, but then what did the administrator do after that? They weren't getting that feedback. So this year, I actually already have a call scheduled. Liddell Williams is our rep, and she's gonna do monthly calls with me, monthly data review calls, where we look at the data together. And she actually walks me through, okay, you had this many referrals for this, and it even shows the location. So the teacher puts in whether it happened in the classroom, the hallway, bathroom, and we go through all that data together. So I have calls already on the calendar with her for each month for that. But as far as whether or not anybody was suspended, I don't know.
I feel like we got an in-school suspension for that last year a little bit.
Little ISS.
I don't think we put anybody out.
Yeah, and maybe we need to look at that. Does it need to say in-school suspension? Or did we just leave it suspension to have the?
I didn't realize it said suspension, but I'm
It does.
fairly confident we got in-school suspension for the second violation.
Okay.
Not as much as we probably should have, but I don't think we figured anybody out for it.
So maybe we need to change that wording to in-school suspension. ISS. But yeah, like I said, the issue last year was the kids had the pouches, they got assigned a pouch, they put it in their backpack, they were supposed to on their own, you know, merit, on their own merit, but they walked in the door, they were supposed to put their phone in the pouch, but no one was checking that. So this year, the rule is gonna be first period, when the tardy bell rings, you're gonna have your phone out on your desk, your teacher's gonna watch you put it in the pouch and lock it, and then you're gonna put it in your backpack.
Good work, good
Yeah,
work.
that was
kids will
Monica's
love it.
suggestion, and I love that, so
I love
that's how
it.
we're gonna start.
I will let mine know it's coming.
Yes, yeah, and that's the thing, it's gonna be just retraining our kids, because they were like, oh yeah, we had pouches last year, so what? So, there's gonna be a whole.
It's a new sheriff in town.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole thing. They're gonna love me. They're gonna love me.
You should get a badge.
I know, I can feel it. Feel the love already. It's fine.
So at the elementary, how low does it go where kids start to bring cell phones to school?
Oh, I bet third grade.
Six
Okay.
weeks old.
And we really, I mean, and I'm not saying never, but very seldom. I mean, there is a cell phone brought to my attention. Probably more than any, probably fifth and sixth, they have a ball game and mom doesn't know to, we have to remind no.
But do
Come to the office.
kindergartners already have?
I haven't seen any,
Okay.
no, I would say maybe third or second, but, they might have one that doesn't have Wi-Fi, just a.
Call it emergency, yeah.
Take a picture on the bus and that, to see you delete it, that's normally where, the bus, they'll try to get one out, but.
And at the high school, that's like just retraining parents and coaches and stuff, because the way that we used to communicate with our groups was through text. If I needed my FBLA girls to come to my room or whatever, but we have to completely retrain them on, okay, how are you gonna communicate with your kids if you need them to stop by your room before the end of the day? Because you can't text them, they can't have their phone. So same thing if a ball game gets changed or something, the teachers have phones in their room and they have, I had to give kids grace last year and say, yeah, you can call your mom from my phone in my classroom. Because they legitimately needed to call somebody and tell them, hey, I
Yeah.
need you to come pick me up because we're not having a game. So.
That's why it's good too for coaches, I think, to include parents on communication.
Yes.
Because when it's just the kids, then there's no way for the kid to communicate that to us.
Right.
Right.
For
Yeah,
practice
that
and
may
stuff.
be-
I've heard that feedback a lot.
Yeah.
All right, anything else on the cell phone policy?
I just wanted you to be aware of how you should do it, because you adopted the handbook anyway, but I want you to be aware.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is Act 400 regarding religious freedom.
Probably you might have read this. It just simply says basically that whatever you allow, a preacher or anything else, you can't discriminate against any religion of any kind. And you got the time you let them pray, well, then you got to let them all have that right to pray to the God that they basically want to pray to. And it's just, it goes, I read it and still don't understand it, and probably will have to have some interpretation on it, of course, all over it anyway. But that's what I got out of it, that you can't, it's got, if you allow prayer, if you bring, for example, if you bring a Baptist preacher in, then if a Muslim preacher wants a rabbi wants to come in, then you have to accommodate those religions just like you would anything else. Usage, I think, would be the same thing. If you allow one denomination of any kind to use something, then you would be, and that's the way I read it. And I just want you to be aware of that too. I mean, I didn't read any action on that state law, but I just want you to be aware of it. If you get any complaints about that, I would appreciate if you pick up the phone and call me, because I'd like to know what their complaint was about that.
Is this the one that had the 10 Commandments? If somebody,
No, I don't know
or was
if
that a different one?
It's a different one, I
Oh,
think.
okay.
That's a different one, and of course, that's in Supreme Court hands right now, I think. From Texas,
All right, any questions on the Act 400? All right, next item on the agenda is the school meals.
Tackersley is the low bidder. They've been the low bidder for, I believe, I know this last summer, they were the low bidder on providing the stuff for them. And I'd recommend that you accept their bids, and then I'd like to discuss that just a little bit with the school. We're doing two things. We're running in the red there, which I told you when I came that you can't do free meals for 52%, and expect them to ever break even. What we want to be able to do is get that down to somewhere in the $40,000 range a year, because it's a recruiting tool. If you recruit 5 kids, you take that from another school or any other school around you, that takes care of that. So you gotta look, you're not ever gonna break even if you're and sewers. Not when you feed everybody free. 2 or 3 things that's good about that is this. One thing is, your rates are gonna be, your breakfasts are gonna be partly picked up by the state of Arkansas. And the second thing is, we're not, I've talked to, Ms. Beavers, and we're not gonna reemploy anybody for, she thinks she can get by with one less, and she also thinks she can cook meals a lot cheaper than she can buy stuff. So, we're going to, somehow this year, we're gonna get her out of the red, and, we're gonna then start to set up where we'll keep up with that a lot better than what we're doing right now. We've also got in there, and I don't know how this happened, my bookkeeper don't know how this happened, but there's, where it shows that they're in the red, you see, right down below it, there's, a category that said, and I've got a call in right now, for the $16,962.
Mhm.
That was for that fresh fruit stuff back when, and they didn't, somehow, they done it, but they didn't bill it to that, they billed it to something, to operating or something. So I've got a call into that lady right now, there's not a code for that, there's no code for it. So I don't think they're gonna make us send it back, but I think that would, like I said, that would be, that's the one thing right there, and that 16,000, that should have been spent in the 22-23 school year.
Could we use that to help offset?
That's what I've got a call in about. I've got it, and she wasn't in today, and she was at the meeting last week in Hot Springs. The lady, there's only one lady can help you with that, and that's, I've got her name. But that's, nobody knows what happened there. I mean, I don't know what happened there. Angie don't know what happened there either, because that was actually before her. Well, it should have been billed, but they did it all right. I mean, it's not like they didn't do it right. They just failed to move that, to bill to that. So I'm trying to figure that out. So that's one of the things I'm trying to figure out. And, but we think we can, do a better job feeding kids and like doing more cooking and using commodities. And so that's what Candace, she was at Panic City the other night when I called her. She was at Panic City when I talked to her the other night. So, but anyway, we can fix it. I'm just gonna tell you, we can fix it. But you got, you gained doing this free meal thing. Last year you gained like 20 kids. I mean, that's, you multiply that time, people say 16, no, you multiply that time about $11,000 a kid. Because the time you do the federal programs, and the time you do what you get from the state, and the time you do lunches and all, they're about $11,000 a piece. So, you're gonna still be in that, I wanna get it to that $40,000, $50,000 range, and feed everybody, and gain those kids, rather than, once you start it and you cut it all off, I mean, these parents are not used to doing, they're not used to that. But I don't wanna do that. I mean, I'll do whatever I can do to take care of that one way or the other.
So you need, us to take action and approve Tankersley as the,
Please,
okay.
So what is that exactly?
that's
Tankersley?
the bids for the lunchroom, foods, they're a couple.
Food service?
Food company, okay.
Sorry.
No, you're
I
good.
didn't explain
I've
it.
never heard of that company before.
All right, so we have a recommendation to approve Tankersley as our food service provider. Do we have?
That motion.
Okay,
I'll second it.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next item on the agenda is the bank signature cards update.
What that is, this is what, the Bank of, First National Bank of Visitor County, they would prefer, you don't have to do this, but they would prefer that you have a third person who can sign rather than, right now, I think it's me and Steph can sign. But their thing was, if there's, one of us is sick or unavailable, who would do that? And it, you know, it can be the president, it can be any of y'all, it can be Angie. I don't think Angie too would really want to do that, but I mean, she, you know what I mean? I think that, but that's what they want, and they want you to adopt the specific wording. It says, board member one motions to remove all current signers and go forward with all signers on all accounts at the first bank of Israel County will be the superintendent, board president, and really board president, and board and district treasurer, unless otherwise specified. Board member number two seconds the motion carries. That's what they want you to, that's the motion they want. If you want to do that, you do not absolutely have to do that. I mean, but I understand what they're saying. If one of us is unavailable for sickness or anything else, you need
Yeah,
somebody
makes sense.
to, and it does make sense.
So they're wanting the verbiage to read
Right.
superintendent, board president, and not the board secretary, but district treasurer.
But I'm not the district
But
treasurer.
No,
it
you're
could be, it could be, it could be, she's really the district's,
The board secretary
Yeah.
that they out.
So this
They
would, this
line
would
up
be
with
Angie.
That would be Angie, but it would, instead of having board president, president, it would be the
Okay, we could make that, we could change that to the
board
secretary.
secretary, yes.
So it's gonna be superintendent, board secretary, and district treasurer?
Yeah, and district treasurer. If you want to do that. I mean, that's just.
But Angie doesn't want to do it, right?
Well, she might not prefer that.
Okay.
But yeah, I would
Okay.
say that she probably needs to be. She's gonna, surely one of us, there two of us, three will be around.
Right, okay.
Can I make that motion without having to read all that?
Okay.
You need to make a motion that tells
To
what
remove all
positions.
current signers and going forward, all signers on all accounts at First National Bank of Izard County will be the superintendent,
Board
the
secretary.
board secretary, and the district treasurer unless otherwise specified.
Okay,
So, hang on, sorry, quick question. So does this, to me, this reads that all three of us now have to sign? That instead of, you know, I would,
That's not what,
but maybe,
we've only got two places on our checks to
It's meant to
sign.
be
Right.
2 of the 3.
Right.
Two of the three.
so
It'd have to be two
it
of
doesn't
the
really
three.
specify
The
that.
third is a backup
Right.
banker. Is that right?
So maybe-
Perhaps Rogers.
I mean, are y'all reading it that way? I guess if, that's the way they want it. As long as all three of us don't have to sign, because that'd really be bad.
No, that would make less sense. But
Yeah,
You'd
yeah.
have to have three people.
Okay, all right, I'm good with it.
All right.
all right. So we have a
Alright,
motion.
that motion.
All right.
All right.
Good.
I'll second it.
All right. Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Bye.
Any opposed? All right, next item is to register for ASBA.
That's up to y'all, but there's a form in there, and, if you haven't registered, and you want to register or whatever, you can register doing, well, I understand virtual or in person or whatever. And, you just need to let us, Angie 1 or
Hot
Angie
springs.
2, even one know that
Oh,
you
that's
wanna
the fall
go.
one.
Do what?
That's the fall, September.
Yeah,
I'm thinking it's the December one.
okay.
But there's one now, isn't there?
This one is
September 4th?
September 4th, but there's another one in December.
2 days,
Yeah.
2-day one.
The annual conference.
But you don't have to go to the same one, you can go to one, whatever
Yeah.
it needs to be on. But just let us know which one, whatever, when, what you want to do.
Okay. Any questions on that?
Nope, thank you for the information.
All right, next item on the agenda is flooring issues.
The flooring issues that we've got, we're trying to get, taken care of, at the high school. We've, got to cart some of the people here, they hit us with a big bid, and we scaled it down, to replace some carpet that was damaged during the flood, also some tile that needs to be, redone. Also, Ms. Bradbury had, her library really needs to be fixed also. And it would total, I think, about $14,000 for all of it.
I'll have to look back at the bid.
Do your library and do what Brooke needs done over there. Now, that don't take care of all their problems over there, but that's what I would like to recommend now is let's take care of the part of Brooke's problem and take care of the library at the elementary school and go from there.
Where's the carpet at in the high school?
Well, it wasn't carpet, so it's that back door where it's flooded 3 or 4 times back there. The cheer room is right there by that back door, and they had put in vinyl plank floor, but it all completely buckled up because of the water getting under it. So that had to be torn out, and then by that back door, the tile that's in the hall, and, you know, we were just gonna replace it up to that gym door, that side gym door, just that much of it. And then the other area was Gorbat's office had some old carpet in it that we ripped out. That was pretty bad. And like you said, like we got bids on the band room because that carpet's looking pretty bad, but we took that out because it was gonna be a lot of money. They gave us an original bid that had all these
About-
areas. That carpet,
about,
when you walk into the high
15.
school, there's the area between the doors that has that old carpet. We looked at that, but we took that out of the bid for this first one just to cause we wanted to make sure we got the areas that are like actually.
That's it.
And we think the flooding issue's been fixed, right?
Well, Colby has dug a ditch back there, but, he hasn't poured the concrete yet.
Right.
But.
He's working on it. He was out there today. He's working on that. I called, Josh and asked him about, coke, and he said that I could he gave me kind of permission to do that. Did you not?
Yes, we talked about it.
Anyway, what he's trying to do,
Get him
I
right.
told him to start at the corner of the.
No, I don't call that, what are you talking about?
Here's the high school building, let's just say. And I told him I want him to start up here, the very start, and dig, and get it where it will slope down like this. And I want him to pour concrete, something open, not over. I want him to pour, so we can get the fire department or somebody to wash that out if he gets in there, and to come all the way down to this corner. He's already fixed this corner, and down here to open up to going down beside the building to carry the water out. And he's working on that right now. He gave a bid of $8,000, which I thought was ridiculously low to do that, he said he'd do it free, and I said, I just want a good bid on it. That's what I want, a good bid. And that's what he gave me. I thought he gave me something that was really reasonable. So I told him to get that done as soon as he possibly can, and that way we can get this flooring. I told him she can't put any flooring down.
Till we get that done.
Till we get that done.
Yes, so they've come and ripped out the floor that was damaged from the water, but they haven't put anything new in yet and I'm hoping this is done soon so that we have floor before school starts.
What they're doing too, we've got those red lines that go across,
No pressure.
those red lines that go across
The hall.
tiles.
Mhm.
Well, what they're gonna do is go to where they ripped it out, put the red in there
Put a
like
red
this.
stripe.
And that way, even though this is not gonna exactly match this, it's gonna be close enough that you won't notice. So that's what they agreed to do. And the one bid on that she had, at the high school was $85.91.25. And that was from the building carpet. And that's why I told them to go ahead and do that. So I took more responsibility from that. And and then we also, the library needs, the carpet over in the elementary library needs to be replaced. And that was the bid on that. And we just got this in here, it says, if they have to move the furniture, they're not gonna have to move the furniture, so that would come out $250 there, and I believe $200 over here, so it would be less than that, but I wanted okay to be able to do both of those.
Okay,
That's okay.
we have a recommendation?
Make that motion or recommend we do so.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to replace the flooring in the elementary and high school. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And I promised Brooke that next year that, or whoever's here, would look at the rest of it. Once you do it there. We're still here, right? We'll take a look at it. And, I don't know if we have to go into executive, so we probably need to. Miss Bradbury's got 2 aides that she's recommended. One of them is, the replacement for one he quit, right? And one of them is for the library, which you never have done yet. We've got permission to do that. And then, I've got, just a minute, I need to talk to you about one other, something else we need to do in executive session.
Okay. Do we need to do the school choice transfers? Do you need action on that?
We
first?
can, we can do that first. And I've got, you got a copy of them?
Got a copy.
And some of those, the McGowan kids, I signed a transfer on those. There was they didn't do freedom of choice, I signed a transfer, because, I mean, you can't turn them down, and you're just fighting,
Yeah.
it's not like it used to be. So, they came up right after, anyway, then I signed the transfer on both of them. There's 3 kids down there, way off down there by themselves that we go down and pick up, and they decide Calico, they're gonna go Calico, and we tried to talk about it, but didn't do any good. So,
Okay.
but I'd recommend that you do those, and we've got 12, I think 14 coming in and 14 going out or something like that, maybe, or maybe less than that. But anyway, and we've already enrolled, you enrolled 2 new ones today. We know we got 4 homeschoolers coming in. So I think the only thing I'm worried about is kindergarten. Yeah, I'm worried about the numbers of nationwide kindergarten now, nationwide. That's the only thing I'm concerned about, all is kindergarten.
And new student registration starts tomorrow, so I think it's
Yeah.
likely we'll get more.
We had 2 that show up trying to register
Today.
the other day, yeah. So anyway.
Okay.
And in my executive session will not take but just a minute. I just need to tell you all something about and discuss the personnel issue now.
Okay. We've got the information here regarding the school choice, inbound and outbound students. Got a recommendation to approve that. Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Executive session at 6:30.
Mr. Levens, do you need me to go back?
You can go there.
Okay.
I mean, Miss Bradbury, this is Miss Bradbury.
Ooh, y'all were quick.
No more chit-chat, no more
Get it
chit-chat.
done. She's mean back.
I know.
She's laying the hammer down.
You tell them, let's go shopping.
Yeah, put that down, quit worrying about it.
All right, we will call the meeting back to order at 6:45. Okay, so next item on the agenda is personnel to consider.
Tyra McGowan's resignation. I recommend you accept it.
Have a recommendation to accept the resignation of Miss Tyra McGowan.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next,
I'll defer to Ms. Bradbury. She's got 3 people she needs to hire. 3 aides she needs to hire.
The first one for the library paraprofessional, which she will be at the high school and the elementary both, so half at each building, is Millie Mellon. And she does have a student that is going into 4th grade.
okay. Have a recommendation to hire Miss Millie Mellon as the library paraprofessional.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
And I do have 2 special ed paraprofessionals that I would like to recommend. One will be replacing Miss Kay, who resigned, and that is Brittany Morris. She has worked as a paraprofessional in the special education classroom before, and she's currently working on her teaching degree.
okay.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the last one is Crystal Payne with a K. She will be a special education para as well. We needed an additional one for the building. And she is PK certified. She's a PK certified teacher with 14 years experience working in the education field. So she'll be a great benefit as well.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Anything else for personnel?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, anything else? Any other comments, questions? All right. With that being said, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, very good.
Y'all stay. Speak to y'all tonight.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.